everyone. How are you? It's been a while. How's everyone doing? Hello, hello. Hi, Shefali. So guys, I'm finally live at a very odd time, as you can notice. I'm sure a lot of people have messaged me saying, how come you're going live at 9 p.m. at night? But this is so exciting. I was randomly listening to a podcast the other day about the law of attraction, which all of you know is one of my favorite topics, manifesting your desires and just being the best version of yourself. So I was chatting with, my mom, and we listened to a lot of podcasts, watch a lot of YouTube videos, and I came across this Sinclaire, and I just took a chance and messaged her on Instagram. And after I messaged her, she was kind enough to reply and agreed to come live with me today. She's in the mountains, she's in Colorado, and so that's why we're just adjusting to the time difference. We're bringing this so it suits both of us, but I can't be more thankful that she's agreed to do this, because I think she bring her on now. Hey Kanika. Hi Divya. Hi to everyone saying hi. Thank you, Kanika. Hi, Urmi. So we're just waiting for Emerald to join in. If you have any questions about the law of attraction, about manifesting your desires, please leave them in the comments. I'd love to ask her. Let me just get her on. Give me a minute. Okay, Emerald, I did send you a request. I'm resending it. Thank you, Divya. Thanks. Missing you. Hope you're well in Bhopal.
Hi. Yay! Hi. Well, good evening,
Finally.
I guess I should say.
How are you?
Oh, I'm doing really well. Thank you. I've got my morning cup of coffee, and I'm really, really excited to be here and share my knowledge.
I'm so excited to have you here because, Emerald, like I mentioned, I listen to a lot of podcasts, a lot of YouTube videos, and not very often do I message the people that I hear. But you are amazing. And I had to share this with people that follow me, because I think that the way you explained, it just touched me somewhere, and it really hit home where I was like, I need to talk to her.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I appreciate you saying that. I personally believe a lot of teachers out there make things more complicated than it needs to be. But if we can break it down into simple, understandable terms and relatable stories, then everyone will grasp it and be able to apply the principles to manifest an amazing life.
Exactly. And, I watch your stories and, of course, follow you on Instagram, which everyone here should do. Whichever people are here from my followers, you must, because it's very positive, it's very real, and it's you really get an insight into your life, but you also tell us how you use the law of attraction and how you manifest your everyday life. So I want to start by asking you to tell us a little bit about you and how you got into this.
Sure, yeah. So I am a love and manifestation coach. And what I mean by that is I teach the principles of manifestation as it regards to creating the love life that you desire. And it does go beyond that, because when you learn how to manifest one thing, you can manifest all things. So when it comes to work, when it comes to money, when it comes to your house, when it comes to traveling, like, it's all the same. Right. And so for me, this journey began when I was about 15, and I started reading books that were teaching spirituality, were teaching law of attraction, were teaching manifestation. And so that journey for the last 20 years or so, for me to apply to my life, has then what I've been teaching to others. And primarily it started with love. It was, I knew all these concepts, but my love life was just horrible. Let's just say, like, I just had one relationship after another that was bad or hurtful. And yet it's like, I knew all this stuff intellectually. I was like, but why can't I manifest an amazing partnership? So my journey of manifesting an amazing partnership and everything I've learned along the way is what inspired me to be a love and manifestation coach, and then turn around and share with others how you can apply these tools, not just to love, but to anything that you desire to create in your life.
That's amazing. And I do know that a lot of my followers who are here today are single girls, and they are definitely looking to manifest the love of their life and somebody who just treats them well and is amazing. So
Yeah.
I think that's what you talk about a lot, and you should watch a lot of Emerald's IGTVs, because they do speak about this. And you have a course coming up. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so what I have coming up is Single to Soulmate. So Single to Soulmate is my live group coaching program. But what I decided to do in the middle of the year is I am offering the modules, the videos, the entire course at a very discounted pace for someone that just wants the content and wants to go at their own pace. And so for it, just like really honestly just happened out of the blue. I decided I wanted to be able to offer something in the middle of the year and not have women have to wait until next year to enroll in the live group coaching.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's great. I hope that people get a chance to sign up. So I'm gonna get down to the basics and ask you a few questions. And if anyone has questions, please leave them live. I'd love to ask Emerald as we go. I want to start by asking you to tell us in your version about the law of attraction, and in just like the simplest points, how you could explain it to us and how it works.
Great. So the law of attraction is, at its core, you will attract to you like a human magnet based on, in general, how you're feeling, what you're thinking, what you believe. So it has to do at an energetic state. It's not tit for tat. Like if you're wearing a blue shirt, you'll attract someone in with a blue shirt. It's in general, throughout your life, are you feeling abundant? Are you feeling adored? Are you feeling cherished? Are you feeling wealthy? You will attract in people, situations, experiences that mirror those feelings back to you. And so that's why if you want to change your life, it's an internal job. You have to start to shift the feelings. And once again, if you're feeling abundant, it doesn't necessarily translate to $1 million, but it translates to abundance on all levels. So abundance of friendships. And the good news is you could shift. So say you were trying to manifest money. You don't even have to focus on the money. You could focus on the abundance of friendships, the abundance of food, the abundance of anything in your life. And that feeling will attract more abundance to you in all areas of your life. And so if you think about law of attraction, what is your dominant vibration? Emotions are energy, feelings are energy, thoughts are energy, your belief systems are energy. And so it's how you feel, and what you believe is always going to be reflected back to you in your life.
Okay, so we need to feel good. And I think that a lot of people tend to, and I've noticed this. So, Emerald, I find it really strange when people have a negative energy. Somewhere I just don't like to be in their presence. And I've noticed that with me, I just jump into the opposite, I just run away. And I get what you're saying. If it's your mindset and you can constantly think about abundance, think about happiness and, the positive energies, it will lift you up, right?
Exactly. And you bring up a good point. We're energetic beings. And so there's an expression here called water seeks its level, which means if you're down here in a lower vibration, you're going to attract in, you're going to be friends with other people in a lower vibration. They're always complaining. Life is so bad. Life is so hard. You raise your vibration. And I see this happen a lot with my private clients. Sometimes a lot of their friendships fade away because their friends are still down here, still complaining, still lamenting. There's no good men in my town. Life is so hard. But when you raise your vibration up here, you're now in a different school of fish all of a sudden. And so good men that were previously there that you couldn't see because you were down here energetically, now you're attracting in these amazing men because you've raised your vibration to match them. And so as energetic beings, we feel that. And sometimes we can feel someone and you don't know why, but you're like, I don't like that person, or something just feels off. Like it's their energy.
Yeah, absolutely. I am a strong believer in this about energy, because you can really, you can tell a person who adds the bad energy to the room, the person who's always the negative, the person who's always complaining. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, I don't want to be with you at this point. So
Yeah,
I
and they say you're the average of the five people you hang out with the most, and what that means is you're taking on their belief systems and their thoughts. And so if all of your friends, for example, are in horrible relationships, you're probably going to also be in a horrible relationship. But if all of your friends are married, they're in amazing relationships, there's a very good chance that you will be too. So it also is so important who you surround yourself with.
absolutely agree. You couldn't have said it better. There are people
Mhm.
asking, they're saying, lovely thought, well said, so simplified. So you're getting a lot of comments, and you've got a comment from Urvi who says, Beyond Books, how do we sign up for your course? Urvi, I will leave the details before we let Emerald go. You can definitely sign up for her course as well. The next thing I want to ask you too is, Emerald, if you could share any instance that you feel that you're open to sharing, where the law of attraction really worked for you.
Ooh, okay. So this is, I would say, a more challenging question because I'm thinking more of like manifestation. Because when I try to manifest, for me, that's a very intentional process, whereas law of attraction is like attracts like. So if I, for example, if I look at every relationship I've ever had and I look at who I was when we first started dating, they were absolutely a reflection of me, of my thoughts, of my belief systems around life and love and money. And so if I look at my current partnership, he is a reflection of who I am and all the personal development work that I've done, the spiritual work I have done. And so when you think about law of attraction, for me, it's a little bit more broad. But when I think about manifestation, for example, like when I manifested the exact Jeep I wanted and the exact color with the exact mileage at the exact price. Like for me, that was a conscious process. That was me sitting down saying, I want a Jeep, less than $15,000, less than 100,000 miles, pristine condition. And when I found the Jeep and it was $15,000, 69,000 miles, pristine condition, more beautiful than I could imagine with the sunroof, and it happened within a couple week period, for
Wow.
me, that's a manifestation because I got clear in what I wanted and it showed up in my life, right? So it happens quickly. And sometimes it happens quickly, like within the same day. Like you think, oh man, I really need some green juice. And then your girlfriend comes over because you're going for a hike and she brings you a green juice or a coffee,
Yeah.
right? Like those little things happen all the time. But for
Yeah.
me, I think it's the bigger things that are more wow, let's just say, more powerful. Like when I think about with my partner, for example, we had a trip of a lifetime this Christmas going to Banff up in Canada,
Wow.
and I've always wanted to go. I manifested a partner that wanted to go and wanted to take me on this trip for Christmas. And so I didn't have to manifest the trip or the money or the lodging or the bookings. Instead, the universe knew. Like I manifested my partner, who's an amazing complement for me, who also wanted to travel, who also wanted to take me on this trip. So this is where things like they can get more magical as time goes on, but I always suggest that people start with something small because they won't have any mental blocks around it. And so start small with, I'm going to manifest a free cup of coffee today, and then put out the vibration of it already happened. Like, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for a free cup of coffee. Close your eyes and imagine like a free cup of coffee and start with small things. One other thing I thought of, like with the law of attraction, when I was buying a Jeep, I was noticing Jeeps everywhere. And what I mean by that is because now my focus and my attention is on Jeeps, you see them more in your reality. And so that's law of attraction right there. It was amazing. I was like, how is there so many Jeeps in my town? It's not that there was more Jeeps, it was that it was in my mind because I was manifesting a Jeep. So I was
Yeah.
seeing them everywhere. And so what you focus on, you'll attract more of in your life. That's law of attraction. So you can't focus on a glass and say, get away from me. You can't focus on a pile of bills and say, go away. If you're focusing on it, you're attracting it to you. So when I was focusing on buying a Jeep, I started seeing them everywhere. So that's why this focus, this mind muscle is so important, because if you want to become a master of law of attraction and manifestation, it's all between the ears. It's all up here. It literally has maybe 1% to do with reality and 99% of what's up here.
Wow. Okay. Thank you for
Yeah.
that. We need
Yeah.
to change our mindset, and we need to change what we think about daily. because I think that really adds to. I'm going to read a few comments that we have.
Sure.
We have the dad drama who says, this happens with me too often. I think of something positive or negative, or perhaps a person who I haven't met for a long time, and they happen to call from nowhere. That's so true.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very true. That happens with me as well. We also have a question from the Soulful Serenity, Nehal, who's a Reiki coach, and she says, how do we raise our vibration and change our thought process as we are so used to constantly thinking negatively versus thinking positively? Great, Nehal, you took my next question away, but perfect.
That's
yeah.
great. Okay, so that's a great question. I'm so happy she asked this because this is a big part of the work that I do with my women or in Single to Soulmate. So the first one, when you're used to thinking habitual negative thoughts, or you're used to complaining, or you've taken in what your family says and that becomes your story. So what I always suggest is you have to be the conscious observer. And to catch yourself, you have to have a strong mindset muscle. And so that's why I always suggest, first and foremost, daily meditation, because that process over time will help you to become a lot stronger up here and have control.
Yeah.
The second thing I would suggest is being aware. So I always catch myself. And what I mean by that is, let's say I was thinking, oh my God, I'm not going to hit my goals this month. I would catch myself and shift it to the positive, which is, well, what do I want to believe instead? Right? So you can start doing that. You can start doing journaling, and you can start journaling as if it already happened. You can start writing down your affirmations. You can put reminders in your phone to pop up throughout the day. Like, there's so many different tools that you can use, because once again, your habitual ways of thinking are neural pathways in your brain, and they're very strong. So what you have to do is start to create a neural pathway over here that says differently, but you have to do it over and over and over again. And then eventually, so neurons that wire together, fire together is what the expression is. And so if these two neurons are used to firing together, which is, there's no good men in my town, I'm getting too old for love, I'll never make the money, I won't get the job. You have to start connecting the neurons that say, I'm beautiful, my man is out there, there's so much money available, I can manifest whatever I want. But you have to do it over and over and over again, because you just spent the last 30 years thinking and being a certain way. It's going to take some time. And then beyond that, there's a practice that I teach called the love list, which is you just making a list of everything that puts you in a good vibration and makes you feel good. And then you making sure that you're doing at least one thing on that list every single day, because you always have control over your actions. And your love list can be reading a book, making yourself food, taking a bath. It doesn't have to be traveling around the world, but truly what we have control of is our thoughts, and your thoughts affect your emotions. If you think, I'm not good enough, nothing's going to change, how do you feel? Versus if you think, I am a powerful, beautiful woman, I can have whatever I want, how do you feel? Right? So once again, that's why when you do these practices over time, which is why Single to Soulmate is 6 months long and my private coaching practice is 6 months long, if you dedicate a half a year of doing this work, your life is going to change miraculously, because you've changed how you're thinking, how you're feeling, how you're acting.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a very silly example to share, but like, you mentioned, so I read it somewhere that even if you're having a bad day, but if you smile, even if you're sad from inside, you start feeling happier.
Yeah, exactly.
And
right.
it
So
works.
Smiling helps. I will put on music, like my favorite song, and dance, and then say my affirmations. Like, I know what makes me feel better. I will go for a run or go for a walk. And one thing I do want to say on this topic, though, is we're not meant to always feel good. Sometimes we're going to have bad days. Sometimes you feel sad or angry because stuff happens in your life. And so I do want to say that it's so important to process and feel your emotions. We're not meant to stuff them and be like, no, everything's fine, I can't feel bad because of law of attraction. It's like, no, we can feel bad. It's just, don't get stuck there. Process and then move through them and shift.
Yeah, like they say, the person who's really winning is the person who's having the worst day but can really come out of it and be positive. So I really think, So Neha, who asked that question, says you have answered the question so beautifully. Thank you so much.
Good. Welcome, my dear.
And we have a comment from Barry Paul Price, who says, it is simple but not easy for people. Love the love list idea. It makes it easier for people to be loved, so they attract love.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think if you're, like they say, right, if you're a happier person, happier people come to you and more positive people come to you.
Well, think about it. If you were a woman who was always complaining and life was so hard and blah, 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 and I was a guy and I was dating you, but I was like, everything's amazing, it's all working out, everything's working for me, I wouldn't date you for very long because we would just be at a disconnect. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm tired of hanging out with this negative woman, right? So it's truly like attracts like when it comes to law of attraction and when it comes to relationships. You're always going to attract in your equal, which is why you can never point the finger at your partner and say, it's your fault. It's, well, I attracted this in. He's a mirror of who I am. So what do I need to change in myself?
Very true. You know, Emerald, this is what I love about your podcast and what speaking to you today, because it's so real. And the way you say it is so simple, and it's just like, so you make it sound so easy. Like I'm just going to get out of this conversation and manifest everything I want.
Yes.
Yes. So we have a comment from Norvi Sheth. She teaches children dance and a lot of activities. So her question is, your thoughts on vision board. How many things should one visualize or manifest at one time? That's a great question.
That is a great question. Okay. My thoughts on a vision board. I love vision boards. I think they're great. I do one every year, and as I'm like redoing my goals for life. So here's the thing. Your subconscious mind is visual, and it focuses on images and then also emotion. So if you make a vision board and you're looking at the vision board, a reminder that it's also important to feel the emotion. So if you're looking at this beautiful house, to feel as if you're living in there. If you're looking at a husband and children, to feel as though like that's your husband, those are your children, right? So it's putting it in your subconscious mind. And I've had things come true in my vision board in as little as 3 days. Now, to answer the second part of the question, though, how many goals should we focus on? I honestly don't. So I don't think we should focus on more than 2 or 3 goals at a time. And here's why. If we have too many, the subconscious mind is going to be overwhelmed, right? If you're like, well, I'm going to lose 10 pounds and I'm going to meet my husband, I'm going to make $10,000, I'm going to get a new, it's too much. So what I usually suggest, and at the beginning of the year, I'll do like a manifest it all type of workshop for the year. I will have them like, okay, write down all of your goals. What's the one goal that would make the biggest difference for them all? Because I have a lot of women like, Emerald, I want your help on money, but also on love. And I'm like, which one would make the difference? Is it the love of your life and then you can focus on money? Or is it the money, then you can focus on love? So I think it's great to have a bunch of goals, but if you really want to like manifest the thing, which one means the most to you? Which one is... It's like a domino goal concept. Like if you hit that one, then the other ones are going to be so much easier to hit.
Yeah. Okay, I hope that answers your question, Urvi, because that gave me clarity for sure. We have a question from Divya who says, why does it sometimes take long for stuff, relationship, money to manifest?
Great question. Okay, so there's a couple things I want to say to this. The first thing is there's divine timing, which is in our minds, we think, well, I want to manifest the money by the end of the month, or I want to manifest the lover by the end of the year. But there is something to be said about divine timing, and we don't always know what's going on behind the surface, behind the scenes. And so that's why faith plays a really big role in manifesting, like trusting that everything is working out for you in divine timing. So there is that aspect. Second thing, things actually don't always need to take a lot of time. Sometimes that's a limiting belief. And if you're telling yourself it needs to take a while, then it needs to take a while. And so it could also be an opportunity to dig in. Well, what do I actually believe to be true about love or money or relationships or manifesting, right? And then the third thing I wanted to say to that is think about there's a gestation period. And we don't want things to manifest instantaneously. And sometimes they do, usually the smaller things, right? Like you think about a cup of coffee and then someone shows up with a cup of coffee. Yeah. But I love to use the example of, let's say you were pregnant and you're thinking, well, why does it take so long? Why do I need to wait 9 months for this baby to appear? I'm ready for the baby. Well, you don't want to birth the baby at 2 months. The baby's not ready, right? So we have to remember that there's this gestation period that happens, and we can't always control how or when. We are in charge of what we want and why we want it, and we can be putting that out to the universe. The universe is in charge of who, of when, of where, of how, like all of those details. And so that's when we just let go and we do our work and we get in alignment and we take inspired action and we listen to our higher selves, God, source, whatever you want to call it. That's the work we have to do. Then we need to get out of our own way, and usually focusing on the fact that it's taking so long is what prevents a lot of people or slows down the process. Because if you're noticing that you're single, where is he? This is taking so long. You're putting out more of those feelings and vibrations of I'm alone, I'm single, this is taking so long, versus my life's already amazing. I'm surrounded by so much love and abundance and friendships. And what can I do to help me to feel even better? Like that energy is what's going to attract that love to you faster. So that's my 3-part reply to that amazing question.
Yeah, that is an amazing question. And thanks for your ever clear reply. I mean, it's so easy to understand when you explain it. So thank you for that. I'm going to take one more question from Xenia, who, so she says, they always say, let it go or detach the thought. How important is that? Once you think of what you want. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's very important. And this is because of the energy underneath it. And so think about it. If you want something and you want love, but you're focusing on it, like I want it, I want it, I want it, I want it, the underlying feeling is I don't have it. That's why I want it. It's lack. That's why I want it. So when you're like holding on really tight to something because you want it, it means you don't have it. Versus if you can put it out there and just let go and trust it's going to happen. It's like going to a restaurant and putting your order in. Do you call the server over 20 times and say, is the food coming? Is the food coming? Is the food coming? Is the food coming? No, like truly, if you trust, you put in your order and then you get busy doing your thing. And now that we know about feelings and law of attraction, like it's done. You put your order in. So go focus on all the other things that can help you to feel good and enjoy your life and be in alignment with what it is you're hoping to receive.
Great one, Emyrald. And you're getting a lot of praise and compliments from people saying, thanks a lot. Good stuff, Emyrald. Fabulous interview. You're the best. And Barry Paul Price says, correct. What we hope for, we fear we won't get and feel we don't have.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Very true. So I'm going to ask you another thing, which I've been doing recently, and I wanted to actually check with you if this works, is something which I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos about called scripting and writing. So, I've always been, my friends laugh at me because I literally go around being like, I'm a billionaire, I'm a billionaire, I'm a billionaire, and they think I'm nuts. They're like, you're actually nuts. But I've started writing every day. And I wonder, what's your thought on scripting and actually putting down your goals?
Oh, I think it's extremely important. And in fact, I do it all the time. One of my podcast interviews, or podcast episodes, I think it's episode 6, like 15 ways to boost the law of attraction's efficiency, because there's so many ways you can do it. And the point is, does it bring the feelings into your body? So I write down my goals because I want it in my subconscious mind. I want to see it. I want to remind myself. I had Post-it notes on my computer. And then it's important to remember that when you say I am, whatever words follow, you're ultimately telling the neurons like to fire and wire together in your brain. So what follows I am is really important. So if you're writing this stuff down and you're feeling it and you keep doing it, eventually you will become it. But it's important, once again, to emphasize, you don't just do it once. It's not one and done. Like I worked on my money mindset for 2 years before my business was like finally making the money I wanted it to be making. But I was dedicated. It was, no, this is going to work out. I'm not just going to try for a month and be like, oh, it didn't work out, I'm quitting. It was a process of rewiring the brain, of tricking myself into believing it was possible. And then once you believe it, and then once you expect it to happen, it's inevitable. It'll happen. But once again, we're not in control of when it happens.
Absolutely agree with you. So I am on the right track then, right, Emyrald?
Yeah, you are. You're very much on the right track to becoming a billionaire.
I'm so happy to hear that. So I just want to clarify one thing, which I actually got as an inbox question as well, strangely. It's like they say, what do you think about comes? But somebody said, how do you write this? So, of course, my answer is I write everything as if it's already happened. So I write, I have a house like this. I am a billionaire. I am successful. So is this something you could just tell us in a short line?
That's typically how I do it, or I'll say thank you, because think about it. The energy of thank you is I've already received it, right? So I will use thank you or I am or I have, but usually it's like, thank you for my multiple six-figure coaching business. Thank you for this amazing new client. And then I'll just pause and feel it for a second. And you do that multiple times a day. Like, that's really all it takes to start to shift your energy towards what you want. So yeah, you're doing it right.
Awesome. Yay. That's good. Glad to hear. So the next thing I want to ask you is a topic which I find that people are very, very afraid to talk about, very shy to talk about, especially in India. This is something I've noticed where, money is such a touchy topic. And I feel like people don't want to talk about it openly. And I also watched another video recently which said when you write your goals or you set your goals, you should share them. Maybe not with the entire world, but maybe close friends and family, because that puts it into being. So I want to ask you, are there any specific ways to manifest money into your life?
Oh, absolutely. I have an entire course on manifesting money, actually.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah,
okay.
I do. Yeah. So, I mean, money is a taboo topic. Sex is a taboo topic. It's like, it's the same in the US. It's like, for some reason, it's just expected that you know how to make money and manage money, that you know how to be in a relationship and communicate and make great love. It's just like, no, we need to be taught these things. So when it comes to money, it's no different than manifesting anything else. The challenge is we have cultural belief systems around it, or we have family belief systems around it. And so when it comes to manifesting money, in the first module of the money course, one of the exercises that I suggest is that you write down your entire money story. What I mean by that is everything you've heard about money, everything you believe about money, maybe bad experiences with money, like you write it all down, and then you do the Ho'oponopono prayer of thank you, I'm sorry, I love you, please forgive me. So forgiveness clears the slate energetically and can help to remove some of those limiting belief systems. So if we have this energy tied up around money, we need to clear that energy first before we can expect to manifest more. It's like you have weeds in your garden. You need to pull the weeds out before you can plant the flowers. So wow. When it comes to money, and just like with love, and that's why manifesting is the same for any topic, you need to clear the old belief systems out of the way. And so you need to get clear on what's the story, and you need to offer forgiveness, and you might need to do this multiple times. But once you do that process, that's when it's okay, well, what do you want to believe instead? How can you rewrite your money story? And so, for example, I held a grudge towards my parents for a long time because they didn't help pay for my college. So I left college with like $40,000 in student loans, and then I was kind of blaming them and holding it over their head. So when I first did this exercise, I forgave them, I let it go, and I asked to see it differently. And I realized, wow, like I was able to go to this Ivy League school. I was able to get the scholarships, the grants. Like I did this all on my own. Actually, my parents didn't need to pay it. I'm still paying off my student loans, but look at me, like I'm paying off my loans, and I did this all by myself. So then when you shift the story, you shift the energy, it's changing your vibration when it comes around money. So I think this is a really important step one of the process.
That's amazing. And I hope that people do listen to your podcast. I will share it, after we finish this live as well, because I think it's so important for people to know, because this is the question I get very often. How do I manifest money into my life? So if you have a course on this, which I didn't know, I'm definitely going to share that.
I do.
The last thing I want to ask you also before I take one or two questions is, if you could share the concept of saying no to manifest more. A lot of people tell me this, they're saying, Shan, you just don't know how to say no.
Okay, so there's a lot of different levels here. And I can tell you, at least from my coaching business, since I work primarily with women, attraction and love, a lot of women don't say no because of that fear of not being liked or not being good enough, or they don't have their own self-confidence, they're not setting their boundaries. And so no is really important, because when you say no to something, you have more space to say yes to something else. So for example, if you have a friend with benefits and you're spending all of your time or your free nights with this person, you don't have space to actually attract in your real love, right? But if you say no to this friends with benefits and you create that space, all of a sudden the universe could fill it up with someone who is in alignment. And so I think it's important that we're saying yes only to the things that are in alignment and that light us up, because everything we say yes to that's not in alignment, it's also energetically dragging us down. So I believe people need to be more selfish and truly honor their desires and say no to
Yes.
everything, every person, every invite, everything that's not in alignment. Like, I am giving you permission. It's time to start saying no a whole lot more.
Yeah, that's a great point, because I think because we have so much free time, we kind of direct it in the wrong places, right?
Yeah, exactly. But think about it. If you used your time intentionally to focus on what you wanted to manifest, to focus on feeling good, to doing courses, affirmations, podcasts, like if you're filling your brain with all of this amazing food, that's going to change your life in a big way. And that is definitely what I would suggest is fill your brain with good food. So, I mean, YouTube videos, podcasts, affirmations, teachers, books, courses, just like go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. How inspiring. The last thing I'm going to ask you is there anything that you do on a daily basis which really helps you, Emerald, to really keep a positive mindset? And I think basically to keep a manifesting mindset, if I could put it that way. Any
Yes.
daily
So
activity? Yeah.
yeah, so I meditate absolutely every single day. And I know we've talked about why, because the mind is a muscle. It's like going to the gym every single day and to have a strong body, right? So I meditate every single day. And then the next thing I will do is I'm always writing down my goals as if they already happened, because consciously and subconsciously, I just want it in my head. And that's why when we talked about vision board and goal setting, like, what's that one goal that's going to affect all the other goals? And this is what I'm always teaching my clients. I'm like, let's make this as simple as possible. Meditation, focus on the goal as if it already happened. Bring that feeling into your body. Like, I have 4 reminders on my phone that pop up multiple times a day. I pause, I read it, I close my eyes, I pretend it just happened, and then I continue on with my day.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
And somebody asks here, how did you learn about manifestation? Was it by accident?
My father. So when I was in high school, my dad was a hypnotherapist, and he still is. He started learning about the nature of personal reality. So as a hypnotherapist, you're learning about the mind. So he started learning about how the internal world affects the external world. And he started giving me these books to read in high school. And so that's where this all began. And then it just resonated with me. I'm like, this feels right. So then I just started reading and researching and just diving into it. And now 20 years later, it's what I live, it's what I teach.
Amazing, Emerald. You're so inspiring. And I've just loved chatting with you. I want you to share a little bit about how people can get in touch with you if they want to do maybe a one-on-one, if you do that, or how do they sign up for your courses and know more?
Sure. Yeah. Okay. So the best way to get a hold of me is to send me a DM on Instagram. Like, I'm not big enough where I can't answer all of my messages. I answer them all personally. And so that would be the best way. So with the money course, it's hidden on my website because I'll usually do a launch like once or twice a year. But if anybody emailed me and wanted access, 100%, like I'd say, here you go, here's the link, check it out. If you have any questions, let me know. Like, I have an affordable payment plan for it. And then the same thing with Single to Soulmate, because I just decided to do like a little mini, like, hey, if you want to do it on your own and get all the content, all the videos, all the modules, just send me a DM and I'll give them the link. So these aren't even on my website. This is more like, because we talked about it, I'm like more than happy to give them the link and they can check it out. And then like the link in my profile on my Instagram goes to the website, and I've got freebies on manifesting, on love. You can go to my YouTube channel or watch my videos here, but ultimately, like, just send me a message on Instagram and we can chat. And if I can help, I will be glad to.
How sweet. That's amazing. And you do have the one coming up soon, which is the Manifest Your Love Life, right?
Yeah.
So if you guys want to check that out, that's next. But of course, check out our website. I also want to tell you that technically I manifested this chat because I heard your podcast, and I just manifested myself talking to you. And I have to say, you were so prompt. You replied immediately. And it's been such a pleasure chatting with you today. Thank you for this.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you. Thank you for reaching out. Thank you for listening to the podcast. Like, let's manifest it all. That's the name of the podcast. And yeah, I'm just so grateful you reached out and I could be of service, and just thank you.
And if you ever come to India soon, I'd be happy to meet you. But thank you.
Oh my God, me too. Yes.
Yeah. So enjoy the rest of your holiday.
Thank you.
Stay safe. Bye.
Bye.
See you.